What is going on, everyone? We are live for our Saturday, March 1st. It is officially March, the best sports betting month in the year, at least in my opinion. October, you get your NFL in there, but I love March Madness. I love conference championships in college basketball. And that's predominantly taking place in March with the conference tournaments tipping off just in a few weeks. March Madness sure to follow after that. On March 20th. So just a few weeks away from the big tournament, filling out your brackets. Give me a comment in the chat. Let me know who you're going with to win the March Madness this year, or any conference championship picks you have in March Madness, college basketball, anything like that. We are going to go through. We got some NHL. We're going to get into two NBA games. And then we'll wrap things up with college basketball. Got 5 games on the slate. Great college basketball slate. Great sports slate today for a Saturday. I'm going to start out with the NHL. We have an outdoor game we're going to get into with the Red Wings and Blue Jackets. That's our 6 o'clock game taking place over there in Columbus. But we'll start things out. Two good games, or two good teams taking place at 12:30. The Tampa Bay Lightning coming into DC to take on the Capitals. Capitals are a -105 on the money line at home. Lightning -115. Lightning are bringing a 7-game winning streak into today's matchup against the Eastern Conference leading Washington Capitals. Caps are 2-2 since coming out of the Four Nations face-off break that we had there a few games ago. I like Tampa Bay here, minus the 115 on the money line. I think they're obviously the hotter team. I've taken them a few times on this winning streak. I think I'm going to take them here again, minus the 115 on the money line for Tampa Bay. They're the hotter team. Caps losing 2 straight to obviously Calgary and St. Louis. Caps are a very good team. I'm gonna kind of doubt them here a little bit. I think Tampa Bay is the hotter team with the better goaltending. I'm going to take the Lightning on the road here, minus the 115. Our second NHL game that we have here features my Pittsburgh Penguins, Aces Boston Bruins. He is not here to defend his Bruins 5-game losing streak that he's bringing into Pittsburgh to take on the Penguins, who are also 1-3 since coming out of the break. Penguins coming off a win on Thursday against the Flyers in overtime, thanks to Evgeny Malkin. But in this game, Penguins are favored minus 125 on the money line. Bruins plus 105. Over under at 6. I like the Penguins here. I'm probably not going to bet it. They're a very inconsistent team, but Bruins, obviously, I'm going to, not going to bet them to come off a 5-game winning streak, or losing streak, I should say, in a Saturday afternoon game at 3 o'clock. I like the Penguins here. I think it'll be a lower scoring game. Lean on that under 6. I think that'll be a good score prediction there. 3-1, 3-2, whichever way this goes. I think it'll be under that number 6. So I do like that there. For Penguins Bruins there at 3 o'clock in Pittsburgh. And I see some chats coming in. We're going to get into our college basketball in a little bit. So give me a few minutes here, get through some NHL, NBA picks, and then we'll get into our predominant college basketball slate. Give some more people some time to get in here. But our next game was that outdoor game that I was featuring on the NHL today, with Detroit going to Columbus to take on the Blue Jackets. The 2025 Stadium Series will take place at Ohio Stadium, home of the Ohio State Buckeyes, national champion Ohio State Buckeyes. Red Wings come into this game 2-0-2 in outdoor games in franchise history, with their most recent result being a 5-4 overtime loss to the Maple Leafs in 2017. This is the Blue Jackets' first outdoor game in franchise history. I do like the Blue Jackets here in this spot. I think this is a good matchup. I think it's a cool outdoor game compared to some of the ones that we've seen in the past. But I like the Blue Jackets here at home, technically at home at Ohio Stadium in Columbus. I like them. I usually ride with the home teams in the under in or outdoor games. But I like the Blue Jackets here. The under 6 is a little sketchy. Red Wings, Blue Jackets, these teams could put up some goals. I could see this be a 4-3 final score. So I'm going to stay away from the total here. I like the Blue Jackets at home. Like I said, quote unquote, at home. They're playing outdoor game. But the last NHL game we're going to get into, Oilers Hurricanes, 7 p.m. Oilers riding a 5-game losing streak into this matchup as well against the Hurricanes. Not against the Hurricanes, 5-game losing streak, bringing it in against the Hurricanes. Carolina is also just 1-2 since coming out of the break. This is a tough matchup here. Mackey took the Oilers the other night against the Panthers. That obviously did not work out for him. I'm going to lean on Carolina here, minus the 135 on the money line. Oilers sitting at plus 115. I like Carolina here at home. I think they're obviously the Oilers are just there's something going on with them right now. 5-game skid. They've got to get out of this before I can put my money back on them. I like the Hurricanes here today at home. I think that's a good matchup. Good NHL slate today. Like I said, an outdoor game. We get some good matchups there in the NHL throughout the day. Some starting at 12:30 with the Lightning and Capitals. 3 o'clock Pens Bruins, 6 o'clock Red Wings Blue Jackets, and then ending things off Oilers Hurricanes at 7 p.m. But we'll move over into the NBA. Thanks for throwing some stuff in the chat last night. Cogs tuning in. How about them Cavs? Did Ace watch that Cavs game last night? Yes, he did. He was Mackey was throwing stuff in our group chat, 25-3 Celtics, and Ace said I give him credit. He did say long game, but they've owned the Cavs this year, and I thought it was pretty funny when Cleveland came back and won that game. So shout out to that Cavs team. That was a great game to watch last night. Everyone thought it was over in the first 5 minutes. Jason Tatum saying "fuck out of here," but I was glad to see Cleveland pull that one out. Shout out to your Cavs. Speaking of the Cavs, we'll get into some NBA today. We have a couple games I want to get into. Not a great NBA slate. Sacramento heading to Houston. Houston is a -4.5 point favorite over under at 230.5. Houston money line -200. And the Kings are +165 on the road. I like the Rockets here minus the 4.5. I did take this. I locked in that -4.5. I could see this go to 5 by tip, but I'm not big on the Sacramento Kings team. Obviously, Rockets are very good at home. 20-9 record at home this season. Kings are 15-14 on the road, so an average team on the road, but Rockets are very good at home. I'm going to take the better team to cover there. And then in the NBA, we have a good matchup with Milwaukee heading to an injured Dallas Mavericks team. Mavs are 3.5 point home dog here, over under 227.5. Mavs money line is +135. Bucks -160. So Milwaukee comes into this winning 4 of their last 5, including wins over Denver in their most recent game. Bucks are just 12-16 on the road this season, though, with Dallas being 18-11 at home, despite all these injuries. Obviously, these kind of numbers are Luka skewed because they're pretty recently with that trade. But Mavs have won 3 of their last 5. Could be without PJ Washington in this game, and already in addition to being without AD, Gafford, Lively. I would lean on. It's a tough game. I'm gonna lean on the Bucks. I wouldn't play this one. The 3.5's a weird number on the road. They're not the best road team like we've talked about or like I mentioned earlier. But some good NBA games today. Not the best slate, but we have a great college basketball slate to scratch that basketball itch that we all have, especially a college basketball Saturday slate. Just a great slate. We have 5 ranked games. 4 of ranked versus ranked that we're going to get into. And then obviously shout out my Mountaineers. We're going to end things off with WVU BYU. But I see someone saying in the chat, Bucks Rockets money line. I like that. I was on the Rockets. I did lean on the Bucks. Not as confident in Milwaukee today, but I do like that one. Shout out to that 2-leg play. I like that. In Maryland, do you like Maryland today? We'll start things out. That is a noon game at Penn State. I'm big on this Maryland team. I like Derek Queen. I like this Maryland team and what they're doing as the 16th ranked team in the country. I'm not big on Penn State. I would lean on Maryland minus the 4.5. I don't love laying the number there with them on the road. But I think against Penn State, that's an environment that's not too tough or known too tough to go into. So I do lean on Maryland, but I see someone saying Auburn, Kentucky. That's going to be the first game I get into. So let me get into that, introduce that game. Number 1 Auburn heading to Lexington to take on number 17 Kentucky. Kentucky's a 5.5 point dog, over under at 165.5. Auburn is -225 on the money line. Kentucky +185. Auburn's bringing a 5-game winning streak today when they take on Kentucky. Auburn's last loss came on the 8th of February when they lost at home against Florida. And Kentucky is 3-2 in their last 5, coming into this matchup with losses at Alabama and at Texas in their last 5. I'd lean on Auburn here. Auburn's one of those teams I'm very scared to bet against. They're very consistent. They're very good on the defensive side of the floor. And getting stops and scores are huge in the world of college basketball. I'm going to lean on Janai Broome and this Auburn Tiger team to come into Lexington today. This Kentucky's been kind of inconsistent. They've been very inconsistent on the road. I don't like to go against them at home here. I'm going to lay the 5 points with Auburn. I think they're a great money line leg. I don't think they lose this game, but that's a very good matchup coming at 1 o'clock. We'll move over into our 4 o'clock slate where we have another ranked versus ranked game with Alabama at Tennessee, number 6 at number 5. coming at 4 o'clock here. Let me get this spread pulled up here. Let me find this game. But two great teams. Obviously, Alabama struggled in their past couple games, but Alabama's a 4.5 point dog coming into this one. Over under at 158.5. Alabama plus 150. Tennessee minus 185 on the money line. At home here, Alabama's coming into this game 3-2 in their last five. Like I said, after a tough 2-game stretch against Auburn and at Missouri, where they dropped both games. Since then, they've handled business in their past two, defeating Kentucky and Mississippi State. While Tennessee is 4-1 in their last five, with the only loss coming um, with the only loss in their last five coming at Kentucky on the 11th of February, so a few weeks ago back. But I like Tennessee here. This is one of my plays of the day here. I like Tennessee minus the 4.5. So you can maybe get it at 4 or 3.5. So make sure you're shopping your line here. I'm all my odds that I'm using here on MGM. Shop smart there, find your best price there. But I like Tennessee here. I think the Vols defense gets the job done. Alabama, like I said, been pretty inconsistent in their past couple. They've dropped games, to Missouri and to obviously Auburn's a very legit loss. That's not a bad loss at all. But I think this is a vulnerable spot for Alabama, and this Mark Sears led Alabama team to come into Tennessee and face a very good team. SEC on SEC, I think these are two of the top dogs down there. Florida as well, but I like the Vols today. I think they get the job done here. Someone saying Texas Tech versus Kansas. I like Kansas there. I'm big on that Texas Tech team, but I think that's a good spot for Kansas today at home. I'm big on the home teams in college basketball, so that's something you'll definitely notice. But the next game we're going to get into does involve another Texas team, not Northern Illinois, who I accidentally just clicked on. So give me 1 second here to catch back up to our 8:30 game with number 12 Texas A&M heading to the Swamp to take on Florida. Like I said, 8:30 p.m. tip off there. I'm trying to find this spread to get this pulled up here. So A&M bringing a 3-game losing streak to the Swamp today when they take on the Gators. Drop games against Vanderbilt, Tennessee, at Mississippi State in their past 3 matchups coming in today. Florida 4-1 their last 5 after losing to Georgia on the 25th a few days ago actually, maybe last week, 88-83 in Athens. Tough game. Georgia's a pretty good team this year. Definitely an overlooked team. But Florida's what's that number say? 9.5 point favorite, over under at 148.5. Florida minus 450 on the money line. Texas A&M plus 340. I love Florida here. I think they're a great money line leg. This is one if you want to take Auburn on the money line instead of the points with the 5.5. I like Auburn. I like Florida. I think it's a great 2-legger. It might be still minus odds. You might want to find another favorite in there that you like, but I see someone saying Oregon. That's also another play that I was looking at today. Good point there. Shout out Marcus Preston there in the chat. Thank you for the comment there. Let me know any other plays you guys are going with. Appreciate it. So Maryland, Auburn, Kentucky, we went through that game. But yeah, shout out that. I like Florida here with the points. 9.5. I like them on the money line as well, but however you want to lay that. We got 2 more games we're going to get into. Accidentally clicking on that. Give me 1 second here. Another rank game. Arizona at Iowa State. Let's get this game pulled up here. It's a 9 p.m. tip-off. They do not list these games very user-friendly, so it takes me a second to get back to them when that happens. So give me 1 second here. But Arizona coming in this matchup against Iowa State with a 2-3 record in their past 5 games. Let's see. Wins against Utah and Baylor, Iowa. Iowa State dropped games in their past 2 at Houston. Very legit team. I'm big on Houston this year, and at Oklahoma State, putting them at 21-7 on the season. 3-2 in their last 5. Let's get this game pulled up here once I can get the odds. Like I said, 9 p.m. tip, Arizona at Iowa State. And here we go. Iowa State minus 5.5 on the minus 5.5 points at home here. Over under at 151.5. Iowa State minus 250. I'm big on this Iowa State team. I like them minus the 5.5 here. I think they handle business at home. They're a very good team. That was big on them early on in the season. I thought they were one of the best, 4 or 5 teams in the country. They've now slipped up in their past 2 games, leading them to this number 9 spot. But could even be dropped next week if they do somehow lose or win a close game here. But I like the Cyclones here minus the 5.5. I think they handle business at home. And then the last game that we're going to get into involves my West Virginia Mountaineers. Not having their best season, but they're pretty inconsistent. But they're in the picture. At going to number 25 BYU. BYU is a 10.5 point favorite in this game. Over under at 140.5. BYU minus 600. West Virginia is plus 425. WVU coming into this matchup after going 2-3 in their last 5, with one of those losses coming on uh, the 11th of February when WVU hosted BYU in Morgantown, lost 73-69. BYU rides a 5-game winning streak in tonight's matchup against the Mountaineers. I'm gonna this is a biased pick. I just wanted to throw this in to talk about highlight. So show some love to my WVU Mountaineers. Give me West Virginia plus the 10.5. Don't quote me on that. I like the other plays I said a lot more. BYU's kind of had the upper edge in some of these matchups they've had over the past few weeks. West Virginia, very inconsistent team. A cross country matchup here over in BYU in the Big 12, but I lean on West Virginia there. Like I said, with some of these games, it's when going back, we'll go reverse. Just it's easier to go backwards for me right now. Iowa State minus 5.5. I like Florida there in that matchup against I think it was Texas A&M. And then in the afternoon slate, we had Tennessee minus the 4.5, -4. Like I said, you could try to find it there at -4 um, on Tennessee with the spread there against Alabama, and then Auburn on the road at Kentucky. Um, so we will get into, let's see. Yeah, I think that's it. That's all the games I got today. Through what was it? 4 NHL, 2 NBA, 5 college basketball. So thanks for listening. Leave us a like, comment, share in the chat. And someone saying none of these are NCAA games today. I think you are looking at the wrong schedule, my friend. Go to college basketball top 25. These are the Saturday, March 1st games. Like I said, going through, giving out our picks, gave out some NHL picks, gave out some NBA picks. Thanks for listening. Catch us next week. We'll go through all these games as we get, like I said, a week closer to March Madness, a week closer to, conference championship weekend. I can't wait for all these great basketball games to, college. March is finally here. We're getting into it. It's kind of bittersweet because that means the season's coming to an end. Someone saying, do you have a list of your picks? I joined near the end. Shout out you. You can give us a follow at hitthebooks.pod on Instagram, at hitthebooks_pod on Twitter. But I'll go through some of some of the picks I gave out for you here. But make sure you follow us on Instagram, hitthebooks_pod, hitthebooks_pod on Twitter. We give out all of our plays there every day. But the plays I went through today, I'll go back through them here. Sport by sport, we'll go NHL. I was on the Tampa Bay Lightning money line. Bruins at Penguins. I was on the Penguins money line. Red Wings at Blue Jackets. I like the Blue Jackets money line. And Hurricanes at Oilers. I like the Hurricanes. The Rockets, I was taking them on the spread. I believe it was 5.5 or 4.5. Bucks at Mavs. I like the Bucks on the money line. Auburn with the spread against Kentucky. Let's see here. Tennessee minus the 4 against Alabama. Texas A&M at Florida. I liked Florida to get the job done. I think they were -9. And then Iowa State minus the 5.5 against Arizona. And I lean on WVU plus the 10 against BYU. So, there's a good list. Go all the plays you went through. So, shout out for leaving some comments in the chat. Thanks for listening. We'll see you guys next week. Go through all these games. Leave us a like, comment, share, subscribe. Like I said, give us a follow. Hit the books.pod. We'll get all our official plays out there for today. Yeah, no problem. If you have any other questions, give us a follow. Throw us at the Instagram chat. Tweet at us. Hit the books_pod. We appreciate it. We'll see you guys next week. Thanks for listening.